This is an incredibly heartwarming story about the power of human connection and perseverance. In 1977, Amanda Scarpinotti was a 3-month-old baby when she suffered severe third-degree burns after accidentally falling onto a hot steam humidifier. She was treated at Albany Medical Center in New York, where she received not only medical care, but also immense emotional support from a compassionate nurse. Amanda's head was wrapped in gauze as she underwent multiple surgeries to treat her burns. Despite her young age, those early moments of care left a lasting impression on her. For decades, Amanda cherished the black and white photos that showed the nurse cradling her as a baby. These images provided a sense of comfort as she grew up facing the challenges of her disfigurement, including bullying from classmates. The nurse's tender presence in those photos represented peace and solace for Amanda during what was a traumatic time in her life. As the years passed, Amanda became determined to find the nurse who had comforted her. She spent 20 years searching for the nurse, but all her efforts were in vain. Eventually, she turned to social media for help. In 2015, Amanda posted the cherished photos on Facebook, along with a heartfelt message explaining her desire to reconnect with the nurse who had shown her so much kindness. She wrote, "I would love to know her name and possibly have the opportunity to talk to her and meet her. Please share this because you never know to whom it might reach." Her post went viral, capturing the attention of thousands. It wasn't long before the nurse in the photo, Susan Berger, was identified. At the time, Susan was a young nurse, just starting her career at Albany Medical Center. She remembered Amanda clearly, even after all those years, and was deeply moved that Amanda had been looking for her. 38 years after that fateful day in the hospital, Amanda and Susan were reunited. The emotional reunion was a testament to the enduring impact of compassion. Susan, now retired, was touched to learn how much her care had meant to Amanda all those years later. For Amanda, meeting the woman who had offered her such comfort during one of the most difficult periods of her life was a moment of closure and gratitude. The reunion was a reminder of how acts of kindness can resonate far beyond the moment, shaping lives for years to come. Their reunion was as emotional as it was healing. Amanda Scarpinotti, now a grown woman, finally had the chance to embrace the nurse who had been a source of strength for her as a baby. When Amanda and Susan Berger met in person, the bond between them was immediately evident, transcending the 38 years that had passed. Susan was overwhelmed with emotion when she saw the photos Amanda had treasured for so long. She remembered Amanda clearly, despite having cared for countless patients throughout her nursing career. Susan spoke about how she had always been drawn to babies and children in distress, doing everything she could to comfort them during difficult moments. She had never expected that her kindness would be remembered in such a powerful way. For Amanda, finding Susan was not just about reconnecting with the past, it was about closure and healing. Growing up, she had struggled with self-image due to her disfigurement, enduring bullying and stares from people who didn't understand her scars. But those photos of Susan had been a constant source of comfort, reminding her that there was good in the world. Reconnecting with Susan allowed Amanda to finally express her gratitude for the care she received and the emotional support that helped her survive such a painful ordeal. The media quickly caught wind of their reunion, and it became a heartwarming story that resonated with people around the world. Their story wasn't just about one woman's search for the nurse who had cared for her, it was a story of how kindness, compassion, and human connection can have lasting, profound effects on people's lives. After their reunion, Amanda and Susan stayed in touch, developing a friendship based on the bond they had formed decades earlier. Amanda's long journey to find Susan ended with the deep sense of peace she had been seeking, knowing that the woman in those cherished photos was just as caring and kind as she had imagined. Their reunion also inspired many people who read or heard about their story. It became a reminder of the importance of empathy, of how acts of kindness can ripple through time, touching hearts in ways that may never be fully known. In a world often filled with uncertainty and hardship, Amanda and Susan's story showed the power of hope, human connection, and the remarkable impact of love and compassion in healing even the deepest wounds. After their reunion, Amanda and Susan's connection deepened. What started as a search for closure transformed into a genuine friendship. They spoke regularly, reflecting on the profound ways their lives had intersected. For Amanda, the reunion brought a sense of healing she had long sought, while the scars on her body remained. The emotional wounds began to fade with the knowledge that the person who had been a beacon of kindness in her most vulnerable moment was still present, compassionate, and genuinely remembered her. Susan Berger, touched by Amanda's determination and the depth of her gratitude, found herself reflecting on her long career in nursing. Though she had cared for many patients, this reunion was a reminder of the unseen impact nurses and caregivers can have on the people they serve. Susan admitted that, while she was always committed to her work, she never expected to become such a pivotal figure in someone's life. The reunion allowed her to realize how small gestures, holding a baby in distress, offering comfort during surgeries, could reverberate across a person's lifetime. Their story continued to inspire others, especially within the medical community. Nurses and healthcare professionals worldwide were moved by the impact Susan's care had on Amanda. It became a shining example of the essential, often unseen role nurses play, not only in healing the body, but in providing emotional care during moments of fear and pain. Many healthcare workers saw it as a reminder of why they entered the profession in the first place, to make a meaningful difference in their patients' lives. For Amanda, the response to her story from people around the world was overwhelming. She received messages of support from burn survivors, people who had similar experiences, and many who had lost contact with those who cared for them in vulnerable moments. Amanda's journey to find Susan became a symbol of resilience, hope, and the power of never giving up on the things that matter most. The viral nature of her post demonstrated how social media, when used positively, could bridge seemingly insurmountable gaps and bring people together in ways that were once impossible. Amanda also became an advocate for burn survivors and those facing long-term physical and emotional healing from traumatic injuries. She began to share her story more publicly, hoping to inspire others to embrace their scars and seek healing, whether it be physical or emotional. Her reunion with Susan was a pivotal moment in this journey, allowing Amanda to speak from a place of hope and empowerment rather than pain and suffering. The story of Amanda and Susan also led to public discussions about bullying, particularly for children and adults who bear visible scars or differences. Amanda's vulnerability in sharing the pain she faced as a child, as well as her resilience in overcoming it, encouraged conversations about empathy, kindness, and understanding. Many saw Amanda's strength as an example of how individuals can rise above adversity, and how important it is to have support systems during those difficult times. The friendship between Amanda and Susan continued to grow, becoming a true testament to the impact of human kindness and connection. In interviews, both women spoke about how much they learned from each other. Amanda gained a deeper understanding of the compassion behind the medical care she received, while Susan realized just how much her actions as a nurse could profoundly shape someone's life. Their story became a beacon of hope, reminding people everywhere that acts of kindness, no matter how small, can last a lifetime. The reunion between Amanda and Susan symbolized more than just a people reconnecting. It was a message to the world that healing, compassion, and the pursuit of connection can break through even the most difficult challenges. It showed that in moments of vulnerability, the kindness we receive can stay with us, often becoming a source of strength for years to come. As Amanda Scarpanati and Susan Berger's friendship deepened, their story continued to spread, touching the hearts of people from all walks of life. Amanda's bravery in sharing her journey, from enduring painful surgeries and emotional scars to her long search for the nurse who had given her comfort, became a source of inspiration for many. People were especially moved by how Amanda, despite the bullying and challenges she faced growing up, held on to hope and pursued closure with such perseverance. Their reunion was not just a personal victory for Amanda. It became a larger story about resilience and the deep human need for connection. As word of their story spread, burn survivors and others who had experienced childhood trauma began reaching out to Amanda, sharing their own stories of recovery and healing. Amanda found herself in a new role, an advocate for those who had gone through similar ordeals. She became more active in supporting burn survivors, sharing her story at events, and speaking about the importance of both physical and emotional healing. Through her advocacy, Amanda aimed to break down the stigma associated with visible scars and disfigurements. She wanted to encourage others, particularly children who might feel isolated or different because of their appearance, to embrace their uniqueness and find strength in their experiences. Her message was clear: scars do not define a person, and everyone has the power to find beauty and strength within themselves. Amanda's voice resonated in burn survivor communities, and her courage gave others permission to share their own stories of pain, healing, and survival. The lasting impact of Susan Berger's care also became a focal point of their story. As the narrative spread, it highlighted the critical role that healthcare workers, nurses, in particular, play in providing not just medical care, but emotional support to patients. Nurses, who often work tirelessly behind the scenes, were celebrated for their compassionate role, helping patients through some of the hardest moments in their lives. Many people in the medical field drew inspiration from Susan's story, recognizing how deeply their everyday acts of kindness could influence a patient's life. In recognition of their story, Amanda and Susan were invited to share their journey on various platforms, television shows, online forums, and at events dedicated to healthcare professionals and survivors of trauma. These appearances allowed them to continue spreading their message of hope, compassion, and the importance of human connection in times of crisis. Together, they used their platform to highlight not just Amanda's incredible resilience, but also the transformative power of empathy, especially in healthcare. Susan, now retired, reflected on how meeting Amanda changed her life as well. It was a reminder to her that every act of care matters, even if it seemed small at the time. She often remarked how humbled she felt by Amanda's search for her, and how their reunion had touched her deeply. Susan continued to mentor young nurses, sharing her experiences and emphasizing the importance of treating every patient with kindness and compassion. She hoped that her story with Amanda would encourage the next generation of healthcare workers to see beyond the immediate medical needs of their patients and understand the long-term impact they could have on someone's life. The ripple effects of Amanda and Susan's story extended far beyond their personal reunion. It became a story that reminded people about the importance of kindness, perseverance, and the healing power of human connection. Schools and organizations began using their story as a teaching tool for empathy and anti-bullying initiatives, showing how vital it is to support and care for others, especially during difficult times. Amanda, having found the closure and connection she longed for, continued to live a life dedicated to helping others. She used the strength she gained from her journey to lift up others, advocating for the importance of kindness, especially in a world that can often be unkind to those who are different. Her reunion with Susan was not the end of her story, but the beginning of a new chapter, one where she could fully embrace who she was and use her voice to make a positive impact on the lives of others. In the end, the story of Amanda Scarpinati and Susan Berger serves as a powerful reminder that the kindness we show, even in fleeting moments, can create ripples that last a lifetime. For Amanda, those black and white photos of a caring nurse became a symbol of hope and healing. And for Susan, it was a testament to the profound impact of compassion, showing that the care we give others in their most vulnerable moments can transform lives in ways we might never expect. Their story remains a beacon of love, healing, and the incredible strength of the human spirit.